In 1959, Mimi Bechelani created one of the most iconic stories to be told through telenovelas, Teresa. The show was presented in a classical black and white format and lasted for around 30 minutes. This was one of the first telenovelas that had a lead female character that was categorized as an anti-heroine. Televisa then brought back the show in 1989 with Salma Hayek in her breakout role as the main character. Fast forward 21 years later, we have the iconic Angelique Boyer starring in 162 episodes, Teresa tells the story of a young, ambitious woman from a poor neighborhood who uses her beauty and intellect to climb the social ladder. Teresa is determined to escape poverty by any means necessary. Unfortunately, this comes at a high moral cost. While Teresa seeks her way to wealth and status, she'll ultimately be redeemed or destroyed by her ambitions. Now that we have that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of this video. Things are about to get real crazy. Now that we got the background out of the way, let's talk about the cultural impact. Teresa was a complex and salacious show, leaving many to talk about how this would impact pop culture. However, many wondered how this could impact young women and girls negatively. The show often over-sexualized Teresa, making her wear a lot of skin-tight clothes and dresses. It also left a weird taste in people's mouths, given the fact that Teresa is depicted as a young college student and she ends up falling in love with somebody that's not her age range. Although saying falling in love is quite a stretch, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Teresa quickly became one of the most unforgettable characters in telenovela history. She was beautiful, she was intelligent, and she was unapologetically ruthless. Her moral ambiguity captivated audiences, often wondering, was she a product from her environment, or was she truly a villain? Or a bit of both. The show began reaching parts of the world such as the US, Europe, and parts of Asia. Today, there are hundreds of memes, dozens of TikToks using iconic lines from the show, and countless more forms of media that correlates to the show. Despite some of the controversies that Teresa faced, it went on to win 12 different awards and is said to be one of the most memorable and iconic telenovelas. If you are not Latino and you have no idea what a no sabo kid means, it's basically, it derives from the incorrect way of saying I don't know in Spanish. Now, technically in Spanish, when you want to say I don't know, you say no sé. Now, given the fact that most of my generation, Gen Z, is kind of estranged from Spanish, a lot of us say no sabo, which is the incorrect way of saying I don't know. Now, if you're branded as a no sabo kid, that's technically not a good thing. A lot of the no sabo kids that are, if you're branded as a no sabo kid, you will get made fun of. Not by other no sabo kids, but by the older generation. Now, I kind of want to give my backstory about being a no sabo kid, because I feel like at one point I wasn't a no sabo kid, and then someone branded me as a no sabo kid, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Now, to give a little bit of background about myself, I try to open up in my videos more often, because a lot of the things that I went through alone, and I hope that maybe one day somebody could recognize that, hey, you're not alone and it's normal to go through life, right? So I'm gonna give you a trigger warning now. Tragic Diana lore. But basically my first language was Spanish, and then my dad left, and now who do I speak Spanish to? And my dad only knew Spanish. So, you know, up until I was 4 years old, I was only speaking Spanish. And when I started going to school, I started speaking English, kind of the same way that my mom was learning English. From time to time, I did live with my grandparents, so I didn't stop speaking Spanish altogether once my dad left. But it slowly dwindled to almost none. Other than that, I'm probably better off labeled as a no sabo kid. And it kind of hurts. So if anybody in the comments wants to make fun of me for being a no sabo kid, I will cry. So make sure you keep that in mind. When it came to telenovelas in my childhood, I vividly remember my grandma kicking violently, forcibly kicking me out of the living room TV to watch her telenovelas. If it's one thing grandmas don't play about, it's their novelas. I am telling you, listen, if If you go to a Mexican household and try changing the channel during a novela, a grandma will get pissed. And I remember sitting there watching it with my grandma, and I did not understand anything about what was going on. Not Teresa, but like I remember watching different novelas with my grandma, and I can't remember the names of them, but I remember them by song. Because if you watch these novelas, a lot of them have either one or two distinctive songs that you remember them by. And one of them was a Vicente Fernandez song, and I need to find it. And I'm like, I can't think of it. I'll probably try to find it. I'll put it up on the screen if I do, but like I vividly remember her watching that novela with that one white guy. He's not white, he's Mexican. It's just that like he looks like a white guy. I do, however, remember watching Camelia La Tejana with my mom, and that's about it. Now, that was my experience trying to watch novelas with my grandma. Now, usually when it comes to reviewing shows, I take a whole bunch of notes. Episode 1 captivated me so much so to the point where I forgot I had to take notes until towards the end of episode 2. I really forgot that I was supposed to be taking notes this entire time. Now, if you think any type of chisme going on in your life is dramatic, watch Teresa and you'll soon realize that, you know what, maybe this might not be the case. But also, that might not be the case. A couple times on TikTok, I'll come across videos where it says like, give me your most wildest chisme that there is. And low-key, not even low-key, high-key, some of you are related to like some fucking supervillains. Where do you find these motherfuckers that are like, low-key like incest? Like, listen, not to be in everybody's chisme, but there is one story I remember reading off a TikTok comment where somebody's grandpa went senile. Their niece ended up taking care of the grandpa and they got married. Listen, y'all are related to some fucking supervillains. And honestly, I thank God every day that my family's not like that. I didn't know what to be prepared for when it came to watching Teresa. I did not expect it to be this dramatic. So let's get into it. Now we get into episode 2. And in episode 2, it like ramps up. It's like, this is truly Teresa's villain arc, and it's wild. Teresa and Pablo talk about basically what is going on. They're trying to forgive each other. So she walks out of the club. She storms out of the club with Pablo following her, and Pablo's like, what are you doing? Where are you going? And Teresa's like, you know what? No, we're fucking done. Like, you can't accept that I'm poor, and neither can your mother. So we're done. We're over it. Pablo cannot accept this. He is like, I think the fuck not. So he starts grabbing on her. He starts like being really, really abusive towards her. By the grace of God, Mariano ends up driving past Teresa and Pablo. He sees all of this going on. So he like fucking breaks his, damn near fucking skids his car into a fucking another car. And he breaks up the fight between Pablo and Teresa. And Mariano's like, first of all, why were you with that guy? Second of all, who is he? Third of all, why was he grabbing you like that? Fourth of all, why were y'all fighting? Fifth of all, why are you outside a club? Aren't you supposed to be home? And Teresa's like, bitch, get out of my fucking business. Not how it went down, but it's giving that. What ends up happening is that Pablo and Teresa are over. So what does Pablo do? He gets with Teresa's op. First of all, already, where do men get the fucking audacity? Not only that, but what does he do? He tells Teresa's op that she's poor. Listen. It's one thing for somebody to find out that you're poor, but it's another thing for your op to find out you're poor. It's done. It's like, so Teresa's number one op, her name is Aida. Aida finds this information out. So what does she do? She goes to Teresa's apartment complex and starts taking pictures of Teresa's neighbors, Teresa's parents. What does she do with those pictures? She puts them in a fucking Google slide. Teresa and Aurora being Teresa's best friend, go to this party, and who's there? None other than Aida and Pablo. And they announce that they're together in front of Teresa. And Teresa's kind of like fucking pissed off because they're like, really? We just fucking broke up like 2 days. We've been broken up for 2 fucking days and you're with this bitch, like, be so fucking for real. I've only seen episodes 1 through 10. I don't know what happens to Pablo, but I hope whatever is coming to him, I better come to him tenfold, because where do men get the fucking audacity from? In this Google slide, she tells everybody that Teresa's actually cosplaying as a rich girl. Everybody makes fun of her. Teresa walks out, kind of has her little like pick me moment a little bit. Okay, side tangent. A lot of the times in this series, I've realized that they have self-dialogues that's meant for the camera, but it's very like awkward when it cuts to commercial, because Teresa's having the self-dialogue of like, oh my God, like everybody knows my secret. She's crying. This is so humiliating. And then like, she'll be like, no, I will never let anybody else humiliate me like that. And then I'll cut to commercial, right? And then I'll come back from commercial and she'll be like, well, like somebody that like, oh, well, somebody that she knows or loves is like coming over and like accidentally interrupts that like self-dialogue that's going on. And like when that's happening, Aurora comes over and she's like, amiga, like, are you okay? Like, please tell me you're okay. The entire time while she's like walking up, it's this like awkward silence, and Teresa's just like, towards the end of episode 2, Pablo kind of starts showing remorse. He's telling Aida like, hey dude, I think we kind of crossed the line. Like that was really fucked up. And Aida the entire time is like, who gives a fuck? Like she is poor. Like nobody cares about poor people. Not my words, hers, okay? And then eventually the fight becomes about Teresa, and Pablo's like, you know what? I still have feelings for Teresa. And Aida's like, be so fucking for real right now, like please. Now going on to episode 3. Now in episode 3, again, the dramatics are being ramped up a lot more. Y tú de chismoso, ¿por qué estás ahí? Oh my God. Oh, dude, bro. In the second episode, I failed to mention that Teresa had told her mom that this professor had granted her the opportunity of going to school, you know, free of charge. And Teresa's mom is basically like, I don't know, like you're a very beautiful woman, but like he might be taking advantage. And Teresa the entire time is like, girl, dude, you are fucking up the bag. Like, what do you mean taking advantage? He just wants to pay for my school. Like, please, dude. Like, be so for real. And Teresa's like, girl, if you want us to get out of poverty, then how else do you think we're gonna do it? And Teresa's mom is like, why can't you just be fine being poor? And Teresa's like, I don't fucking like being poor. I mean, realistically, to be honest, who likes being poor? Nobody does. You go up to a homeless man and be like, hey, do you like being poor? No. Cut back to episode 3. Teresa's like, well, guess where I'm going, mom? I'm gonna talk to that professor. And her mom is like, no, I forbid it. And Teresa's like, I don't give a fuck, and walks out the door. She gets in a cab and she goes off to the professor's house. Teresa's mom runs outside and finds Mariano. And Mariano's like, hey girl, why are you out of breath? And Teresa's mom is basically like, dude, Teresa's about to get molested by 4 autistic clowns. We need to save her right now. Y'all are stopping her from getting her bag. At what cost? Does it matter? First of all, if I was Teresa, I would have just kept my fucking mouth shut, honestly. Why are you telling the whole world your business? For stuff like this to happen, listen, if we're being for real, sometimes a bag is a bag. An opportunity is an opportunity. Am I right, guys? Am I right, guys? And Mariano's like, what? Like, what do you mean? What? Like, okay, listen, that's not what she said, but it's the vibe of that. Meanwhile, the entire time, Teresa, like, she's at the house, she's at his house, just sitting there admiring, like, how big and beautiful the house is, and is just sitting there like, okay, you know what? I'll wait for him. She's just there like, wow, this is nice. Girl, Teresa, you need to stop. You hide your interest in the fact that you're a fucking gold digger. Like, you're over here like, wow, this place can all be mine. Like, girl, Teresa's mom is like panicking out in front of the apartment complex. Then comes Teresa's dad. Teresa's dad is like, girl, why are you panicking? What's going on? What's happening? Teresa's mom is like, she went to go see that professor. Like, we don't know his intentions, blah, blah, blah. Like, anything like this is horrible. And Teresa's dad is like, girl, chill. I gave her permission to go. Teresa's mom is like, you did what? The biggest slap in the face you could possibly give to your wife is that. That is, bro. We get into episode 4. Well, you see all this, you know, kind of romantic tension going on between Mariano and Teresa. Guess what happened? Aurora finds out about Mariano. Well, she doesn't really find out about him. She bumps into him and they get to know each other. She kind of starts beginning to have like a little crush on him. Teresa and Aurora are together and she's like, hey, I've been crushing on this guy, and actually he's right over there. Let me call him over. Hey, Mariano, come over here. And Mariano's like, hey, Aurora, Teresa, what are you doing here? And Aurora's like, oh, you guys know each other? And Teresa's like, yeah, I mean, we kind of do. Like, I mean, it's not that serious. Like, yeah, I mean, we're neighbors. We're just, that's it. Once Mariano leaves, Teresa tells Aurora, yeah, he's in love with me. Way to cock block your friend, if I'm being for real. Why would you do that? Why would you go out of your... Also, not girl code. But then again, was Teresa ever really about girl code? Because she's over here plotting on another man while she's also talking to another man. It's too much. Like, we're barely in episode 4. Dramatic as all hell. So eventually, while Teresa, Aurora, and Mariano were talking, Mariano confronts Teresa because while they were all talking, Teresa was like, yeah, he's a cab driver. Yeah, he's also poor just like I am. Yeah, he has no desire in life. Mariano is basically asking Teresa like, girl, why were you trying to embarrass me? And Teresa gives an excuse that she was just looking out for him and that Aurora's dad might not accept him. We come to find out later that that is not true. She just doesn't want Aurora to be with Mariano because Mariano is an option to Teresa. Now, when she talks about her options, she's actually talking about men. And that's kind of a crazy way to put it. Before I get on to more episodes, I'm kind of focusing on the main story and we're not really focusing on side plots. Unless you guys want to see more of the side plots, I will definitely get into those. But one side plot that I will get into is the affair that's going on between Aida's dad and one of Teresa's neighbors, because it's getting crazy. So Teresa is telling her neighbor's name is Esperanza. And Esperanza is, she's involved in an affair with a guy named Ruben. Ruben is Aida's dad. Aida's dad is married to Aida's mom. His family has no idea that this affair is going on. The only person that really knows about this affair that's going on is Teresa, because she accidentally ran into them while she was at the club with Paolo in episode 2. And Teresa's basically warning Esperanza like, hey, girl, I think you're getting played. Like, this man is not leaving his wife for you, and you need to realize that. And Esperanza's like, no, we're in love. He's just going through a hard time with the divorce. Like, we just need to figure things out. Like, he's gonna leave his wife. Trust. Given everything that's going on with Teresa and Arturo and, you know, all the drama that's going on with the professor, Arturo actually comes to meet with Teresa's parents and basically says, listen, your daughter's an intelligent woman. She graduated at the top of her class. There's a lot of potential in her. And you know what? I want her to go to school so that she could, you know, be further in her career as a lawyer. I'll pay for everything, and the only thing she has to do is work for me. Teresa has already said yes to this proposition. Her parents, on the other hand, are like, I don't really know about all this. Like, this is kind of crazy. Like, this is probably a little too much for us. Eventually, her parents kind of give in, but very hesitantly. Teresa starts working for Arturo. Now we go into episode 5. So at the end of episode 4, Mariano and Teresa like kiss, which like has been the most confusing thing ever, because like they've been going back and forth and then they're just kind of like, so leading into episode 5, I guess Mariano and Teresa are together now. Again, going into the side plot, Esperanza, Teresa's neighbor, has a brother that is dying of cancer. Well, at this time we don't know that it's cancer, but he's dying of cancer, and they're trying to figure out why he's dying. But the thing is that they need to run a bunch of tests to figure out what's going on. What does she do? She's kind of like venting to Mariano like, fuck dude, like I really need this money, but like I'm trying to figure out how to get this money, like I don't know what to do. And then Mariano's like, you know what? Here, take some money. Out of the goodness of my heart, like I want your brother to be okay, like just take some money. Don't worry about paying me back. What does Esperanza do? She's like, oh my God, thank you. Like I appreciate it so much. She goes and tells her man, Ruben, and Ruben's basically like, you fucking did what? And he grabs Esperanza and he's basically like, girl, you are mine. You're not to be accepting another man's money. Here, take this money, give it back to him, and tell him you're not accepting any more of his money. Listen, I've read a couple of Wattpad stories in my lifetime. If I read that on paper, it would have done something to me. But watching it, I don't know about all that. Now that we're focusing off this side plot and now to the main plot, Teresa and Aurora are talking. And Aurora is basically like, you know, I'm starting to have feelings for Mariano, but I just want to know if it's okay with you. And Teresa's like, I don't really feel anything towards him. What? Y'all are together? Y'all, what? Aurora is basically like, so you wouldn't mind if I went after him? And she's like, no, girl, go for it. So now we go on to episode 6. From episode 6 to episode 8, it is probably the craziest thing that you will like ever see. Drama of it all is so insane to me. Like it all happens like back to back to back to back. Like it's kind of crazy. I want to preface that again, I'm not really getting into side plots, but now this goes into the main plot. Teresa's little sister, Rosa, is involved with her neighbor named Johnny. Rosa confides in Johnny that she's been fainting and she doesn't know why, but she really wants to participate this gymnastics event. But the thing is that she is not allowed to compete if she keeps fainting. Rosa doesn't tell anybody that she's fainting except for her boyfriend, and you know, and she's like, you know what, fine, like I'll keep it a secret. While Rosa is getting ready for her gymnastics event, Teresa is out at Arturo's house because Arturo's having a book signing and a lot of people are there. A lot of wealthy people are there. Teresa got invited because again, she's working for Arturo. Guess who's there? Aida's dad. And if you remember, who is Aida to Teresa? Her number one op. Teresa meets Ruben and Ruben is like, what's going on? Keep in mind, Teresa knows that Esperanza is involved in an affair. She just doesn't know who the affair partner is. She knows that it's a rich guy, but she doesn't know that it's Aida's dad or Ruben. So what does she start doing? She starts flirting with Ruben. And this is where I start saying, you know what? The get back is getting with your op's dad. Aida's dad is plotting on Teresa, dude. Imagine your op humiliates you, so what do? I fucked my op's dad. Bro. Cinema. Ruben starts asking Arturo like, hey dude, like what's the deal with Teresa? And Arturo's not having none of it. He's like, listen dude, dude, put the fries in the bag. What are you doing here? Like stop plotting on her.
No me digas que andas con ella. ¿Qué clase de pregunta es esa? Teresa es mi alumna más brillante y punto. No, disculpa. Pensé que ante una mujer así... León cree que todo sube su condición. Pero yo no tengo las aventuras como las que tú tienes a cada rato.
Fucking your op's dad is fucking diabolical. Bro. Aida walks in because again, like her dad's there, so she has to make an appearance. And Aida walks in and she finds Teresa and she's like, what are you doing here? And Teresa's like, watch the way that you talk to me. Watch the way that you talk to me. Actually, as a matter of fact, don't even watch that. Watch your pappy, because guess what I'm doing later tonight. She's like, I'm full of surprises. She's over here like, I'm full of surprises. Your dad liking me is one of them. Aida goes over to talk to her dad and she tells her dad, can you believe it, Teresa's poor? And Ruben, he does not give a fuck. Want to know why? Because his mistress is also poor. I'm convinced he has a thing for poor women. So Ruben eventually takes Teresa to Rosa's gymnastics event. They're walking together like buddy, and Ruben's like, you know what, girl? Like, if you need anything, I got you. Like, just let me know and I'll make it happen. And Teresa's like, I'll keep that in mind. As that happens, he walks off. There's an ambulance. He's like, oh God, I hope everything's okay. I hope nothing bad happened. Teresa, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Rosa fucking died. While Rosa is in the middle of her gymnastics event, she passes out on the floor. People are like, what's going on? Why is she on the floor? Why is she passed out? What's happening? Ambulance takes her to the hospital. So they all get to the hospital and they're all like somewhat talking to Rosa. Like Rosa's still cognitive of what's going on. And like, they're all like really worried about her. And then it's not funny. Listen, her dying is not funny. It's just the way that it happened and what went down is funny to me. The acting and it just, I'll leave my reactions to it, okay? This is so dramatic, bro. Somebody sedate me. Somebody sustain me!
Lo siento, pero mi hermana no lo logró. Acaba de fallecer.
What? Listen, it's not funny. It's just the acting and like how everything quickly went down and how everything quickly escalated was like, it was shocking to me, okay? Episode 7. So Rosa's dead. And I guess it's kind of like the funeral and everything that's going on. And Teresa basically blames them being poor for Rosa's death. While at Rosa's funeral, Mariano runs into Aurora, and Aurora's there to pay her respects, and Mariano basically reveals that he's madly in love with Teresa, and Aurora's like, I have to go. This is heartbreaking news to me. Fast forward in the episode, we go and see Ruben, and again, this is a side plot. But we find out some more lore about Ruben. Ruben is fucking anything and everything. You want to know how I know? Ruben and his wife are out to their like little tennis practice, right? White rich people things. Okay, well, they're not technically white, but rich people things. Who is there? Pablo's mom. Ruben's wife is like, hey, I got a phone call. I need to go answer this. I'll be right back. She goes off. Pablo's mom is basically like saying freak nasty shit to Ruben and is like, remember when we were together? I know you missed this. And Ruben's like, that was in the past. Don't tempt me, witch. So he walks away. And Pablo's mom is having a self-dialogue and she's like, you know what? You will rue the day.
You'll rue this day. You'll rue it.
There is a lot of characters that are like, you know what? You will rue the day. And a lot of them are exacting their revenge. And you know what? I am here for it. Now we're in episode 8. And Aurora is asking Teresa about why her and Mariano ended. And Teresa's kind of like, oh, well, once his mom passed away, like he was just very abusive, like he was such a different person and I just wasn't with it, like we had to end. But at the same time, like Teresa's also like very dismissive about it. She's trying to convince Aurora that she doesn't want much from Mariano. Again, not telling Aurora that they're together is honestly kind of crazy. And I'm coming to realize, like, I think now Teresa is just seeing Aurora as another option. They end up going their separate ways, and I think it's kind of revealed that Aurora is gonna end up leaving Mexico. I think she's leaving to like France or somewhere in Europe to pursue more education. It's not necessarily clear why she's leaving. She's just leaving to leave, I guess. I don't know if it's permanent or it's for just a little bit. So as that happens, Teresa is now with Esperanza, and Esperanza is basically like just venting to Teresa about how she doesn't have a job and she's just kind of depending on Ruben. And Teresa's like, girl, knock that silly shit off. Like, go get a fucking job. Go do something. Like, why are you depending on your man? Like, he's already like, he's not leaving his wife. He's already lied to you about that. So why don't you, like, I don't know, go get a job? And Esperanza's like, you know what? I think I might do that. And Ruben does not like that. Well, Teresa is telling Esperanza to get a job. She's also telling Esperanza to leave Ruben alone, which, like, I get it. Like, I understand. But also, like, she's not telling her to leave Ruben alone because he's married. She's telling him because, like, you can't trust a man. Girl, Teresa, I don't think I could trust you. Another critique that I have of the show is that, like, they'll cut to like very non-serious scenes to very serious scenes. So it'll be like Johnny and Rosa talking about like the gymnastics competition, and then like Teresa and Mariano like having a really heated argument. And it kind of throws you off because it's like the two doesn't correlate between each other. Like, you know, when like shows will like cut from scene to scene and they like, you know, let's say like it's two people talking about like a plan that they're orchestrating, and then there's two other people talking about a plan that is gonna interrupt their plans that they're orchestrating. You know what I mean? Like it all cohesively and correlates together. As where Teresa, like, they'll be talking about like very big serious issues, and then I'll cut to like something that does not matter at all. and then it'll cut back to the seriousness. It's kind of like, it throws me off a lot. Now we go into episode 9. This was kind of a little bit of a slow episode. It was a lot of filler here in between, but there was some juicy parts of this episode that are very, very dramatic. So Teresa and Luisa, which is Arturo's sister, they're having a deeper conversation because I guess they're slowly getting to know each other. She's talking to Teresa and she's opening up about her life and Arturo's life and how hard it was when their parents passed away. I'm not laughing because it's funny because their parents passed away. I'm laughing because of how dramatic it is. And Luisa basically just says like they were killed, they were gunned down by a close friend of theirs. And the reenactment of it was so like, it was dramatic. It was very, very, very dramatic. From spending the day with Luisa and like having a deeper conversation about what's going on and what happened and what happened in their life, Teresa goes home to Mariano and it keeps cutting back between Teresa and Paulo. And Paulo is at a bar with some of his friends and he's like, you know what? I don't like Teresa's new man. Okay. Hey Paulo, weren't you just involved with Ida? Why? Like, you haven't been thinking about Teresa in a while, have you? What does Paulo do? He's like, you know what, guys? I say we go jump him right now. So Paulo shows up to Teresa's house and, Teresa and Mariano are kind of in the middle of having like a sweet moment. Paulo just barges in and grabs Mariano and they start throwing ones basically. While all that is happening, Ruben and his wife are actually on vacation. Some crazy stuff is going on with Esperanza's brother. Esperanza's brother is like, dying and they still don't know why he's dying and they're trying to figure out. Esperanza calls Ruben like, dude, babe, I really need you right now. Like, I can't do this without you. Ruben goes off and his wife is like, hey babe, you're getting a phone call. I'll just listen to it and I'll tell you who it is. She listens to it and it's basically like, hey babe, like, I really need you. Like, call me when you can, please. Like, I really need you. Stuff is going wrong. Ruben's wife has a very valid crash out and she's like, who the fuck is this bitch on your phone and why is she calling you? You know what Ruben does? Gaslights the hell out of her. Now, episode 10, last episode of this season. It is dramatic. I have so many notes on this episode. It is crazy. Teresa comes home from having a day with, I can't remember if it was Luisa or with Aurora, but basically Aurora's on her way out and she's like, you know what, let's go shopping. Let me give you my hand-me-downs. Like, it's all expensive gifts, right? Teresa's mom sees this and she's like, you need to stop accepting these gifts from these wealthy people. And Teresa's like, I'm not asking for it. They're giving their gifts. I understand, like, again, like, I think it might be a Latino thing where it's like, why are you accepting expensive gifts from somebody? Like, this is kind of crazy. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are they asking for in return? In reality, they're not asking for anything in return. They're just giving it to Teresa, which is kind of crazy because what is Teresa doing? You know what? It's the looks, really. That's all that is. It's the fucking looks that are getting her by. Why haven't I gotten expensive gifts? And so while Teresa and her mom are fighting, it cuts over to Paulo, Aida, and Paulo's mom. They're all I think they're in Acapulco, and they're all vacationing. And all of a sudden, Paulo's like, yeah, Aida, I really want you. I really fuck with you. I really want to be with you. And it's kind of like, this is odd because weren't you just in love with Teresa? Like, you were just over there jumping her new boyfriend because they're together. Like, why the sudden shift, right? We don't know. But they're together now. While Aida and her man are over there romancing, Aida's dad, Ruben, calls Esperanza back and is like, you dumb bitch. Do you know what you just costed me? You costed me a lot. And now my wife knows about you. You fucked up everything. And Esperanza's like, dude, I'm sorry, my bad. Like, I didn't mean to. Like, I just really needed you. Something happened. And Ruben's like, I don't care. Don't call me no more.
That is not correct.
In the middle of all that, Teresa is over at Arturo's house. Arturo all of a sudden gets a phone call from his ex-fiance. And his ex-fiance is like, hey, I miss you. I want to talk to you. I want to meet you. And Arturo's like, bitch, never call my fucking phone ever again. Don't call this number. I don't know you. You don't know me. We're done. We're over. Through. Click. Teresa is watching all this and she's like, what the like, dude, especially me. I was like, what the fuck just happened? Another very valid crash out. Arturo goes over to his little bar area, starts pouring himself a drink, starts downing that shit. And Teresa's like a little worried. She's like, girl, what the, like, I don't know who was on the phone, but shit, was it that bad? Like, was it that bad you needed a drink? Like, it wasn't. Arturo goes and collects himself. And while that happens, Teresa goes to Luisa, and Luisa is like, hey, is everything okay? Like, why did my brother just come out hella pissed? And she's like, I don't know. Like, he got a phone call, he started crashing out, and that was that. And like, I told him like he can't be drinking and doing all this other stuff. And Luisa kind of catches the vibe like, oh, you really care for my brother. Like, that's really nice of you. And somehow the conversation shifts over to boyfriends because I guess Luisa is currently seeing somebody. And then Luisa asks Teresa, hey, do you have a boyfriend? Like, I'm really, like, I'd be surprised if you didn't. You know what Teresa says? No, I actually don't have a boyfriend. The whole entire time, Mariano's at home waiting for her. What are you talking about right now, girl? What is it that, what are you saying right now? As Teresa's done working for Arturo for the day, she goes outside and she sees Mariano, and she's basically like, why the fuck are you here? And Mariano's like, why aren't you happy that I'm here? And Teresa's like, dude, do you know what you've been doing for me? At work, like, you've been embarrassing me. You've showed up twice to my place acting a fucking fool, and you expect me to be happy when you're around here? And Mariano, understandably, is like, I fucking knew it. You have feelings for that fucking professor. And Teresa's like, no, I don't. You're just embarrassing me, and I don't understand why you can't let me have good things. Teresa, you were just up in there lying about how you don't have a boyfriend. So eventually, Teresa gets back home, and she finds Esperanza. And Esperanza and Teresa just starts talking about Esperanza's affair that she's having with Ruben. I can't remember what warranted Teresa to ask Esperanza this, but Teresa was basically like, hey, do me a favor and don't mention Mariano and I to anybody. And Esperanza's like, what the fuck? Like, that's weird. Why not? Like, she starts pressing the issue. And Teresa's basically like, girl, mind your business and respect yourself. Teresa, shouldn't you be doing the same thing? And that is episode 10, end of the first season. I would be lying to you if I said that I have not been watching the series and I stopped at episode 10. And I have a confession to make, y'all. I am addicted to the show. I think I'm on like episode 15 already. And honestly, again, like I said, if you guys want a season 2, I will be more than happy to upload it to the channel. With that being said, this concludes season 1, at least my season 1 of Teresa. I've been saying it all throughout this video. If you guys want to see a season 2, I will be more than happy to upload that review of it. I know with my message in the beginning, I want to go ahead and say that, you know, I'm not trying to make light of anything. I just want people to laugh, given everything that has been going on. But I hope everyone has a super fantastic, awesome, splendid, amazing day. I will see you guys in the next video, and with peace and love, go away.
Life's like just like a tango, you gotta move that, don't break an ankle. Tell me if you see me from your angle, I'll be your genie, you be my angel, okay. High low, can't go to 500,000 records sold. Soon as all the cash hit the flow, cash the money down, back to blow. Rockin' body, girl, back and forth. It's a personal party, yo, at the phone. 100 girls in the lobby after the show that I body, and after the show they probably wanna